on this planet by the Pleiadians. They brought us here. We were the first people here. You go to the Hopi tribe, the Lakota tribe. Our star brothers seeded us on this planet.
So in your rights, you think Jesus was an alien?
I think Jesus was half human, half alien, and I'll tell you why.
Billy Carson, the man behind the brand Forbidden Knowledge, rose to fame as a self-proclaimed researcher and author dedicated to unraveling the hidden truths of the world. His content was based around ancient astronaut theories, alternative history, and spiritual insights. His controversial claims attracted a dedicated audience. But despite his meteoric rise, it was a faithful debate with a Christian apologist that would expose the cracks in his claims and lead to his downfall. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the Book of Dre. First off, I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. And I really hope you guys enjoyed the last two videos. I just want to say thank you for all the support. And also, sorry if I sound a bit different. I'm a little bit sick right now. But with all that out the way, let's get right into this deep dive. Now, just to start it off, I'm going to talk about my own personal experience with Billy Carson. Now, if you guys don't already know this, I have a podcast. And on this podcast, there's many times where I enter dialogue with other religious peoples, atheists, and more. So when Billy Carson came around, I figured he was just going to be another one of these atheists. Someone who was going to try and tell us something different than what we already know. Which is what happened, because he brought up the Sinai Bible, in which he claims that Jesus was never crucified in that Bible.
Jesus was crucified.
Whoa.
Well, that doesn't exist in the Sinai Bible.
What happened?
It
to
doesn't
him?
exist in the book of Barnabas. But they left that out of the Bible on purpose, by accident.
So
Now, I just thought that I know myself I couldn't probably enter a dialogue with him because he seems so knowledgeable. So I just waited till he entered a debate with another apologist to see if his claims really hold up. And anyways, with all that out the way, let's get right into his backstory.
The person that you are saying is God in here is not God, is not the creator of the universe.
Now, Carson grew up in humble beginnings. Ever since he was a kid, he had this intense curiosity for the world. Now, his field of expertise was that of ancient civilizations, sacred texts, and extraterrestrial theories. And it seemed like he knew what he was talking about because he would usually bring up old Sumerian tablets, along with other texts like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. However, Carson's big break came with his book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Now, this work was promised to decode these ancient texts and reveal truths that were hidden from humanity.
In the Emerald Tablets, you have these different chapters. And Key of Time is a chapter that I'm referencing. So it says, he says, far through the strange spaces I have journeyed into the depth of the abyss of time, until in the end, all was revealed.
Now, obviously, it drew widespread attention. Now, Carson also used social media to amplify his success, producing videos, going on podcasts. So now, let's get into the claims made by Billy Carson. So the gist of his claims was that ancient civilizations were way more advanced than the civilizations we have now. He points to things like the creation of the pyramids.
There are no two stones that are perfectly the same. Each stone fits in an interlocking format. So you can't say, go over here and cut these stones, we're going to bring them over here and we're going to throw up this pyramid. It doesn't work that way. Each stone is made individually, specifically for the location that it's exactly in. It doesn't make any sense. They had foreknowledge. People don't take the amount of resources, energy, effort that it took to build that structure and then guessing that it will work out in the end. You only build that if you have a complete blueprint and you've got proven facts, right? You have proof of concept that it works and you've done this before.
Claiming that they demonstrated knowledge of quantum mechanics and advanced engineering far beyond our time. Now, these claims continue into the extraterrestrial side, claiming that aliens were instrumental in guiding early humans.
The Anunnaki, they are these beings that came from off-world, that they're not little green men with antenna.
Yeah.
They're actually hominids. We actually look like them.
Okay.
These beings were a spacefaring race that broke away from the Pleiadian star system. Now, these stars in ancient times, according to ancient texts and tablets, there was an ancient galactic war there. Imagine if you were in a star system and a planet is being blown up and you're in a nearby planet. You
getting
gotta
the fuck
get
out of there.
off of your planet.
Yeah.
This created something called space refugees.
If I'm correct, I believe he also claimed that the Anunnaki were the ones who helped Cain build the first city. Now, I'm not going to go into every single claim he's made and try to debunk it. I will leave that for another video if you guys want to see that. But to continue, he also believes that aliens gave us knowledge. However, religious organizations and the government purposely hide it from us. So now, here are where the issues come in, because critics claimed that Carson misrepresented these historical texts. Many linguists and historians point out that its claims about the ancient tablets were speculative at best and outright fabrications at worst. So now, here comes the debate. So in 2024, Carson agreed to debate Wes Huff, who is a Christian apologist and a scholar, who specialized mostly in the ancient texts of the religion. So the debate was named Truth vs. Myth, Ancient Knowledge, and Christianity. Now, the anticipation was high for this, with many tuning in to see if Billy Carson could really stand his ground. However, it didn't seem to go like that, because Wes Huff fully dismantled all of his claims.
When you say the Sinai Bible, what are you referring to specifically?
The biblical text that was written, it made it into you can actually look it up on Amazon. It's a Bible called, I have a version at home. It's called the Sinai Bible. Sure.
When you refer to the Sinai Bible, would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus? Like the codex that comes... Okay. I actually have a facsimile. So I have a photocopy that was done by the British Library of Codex Sinaiticus that I work with in my office. My curiosity is just simply, when you say that it denies the crucifixion or that the crucifixion isn't there, Matthew 27, where it has Jesus being crucified, and that's in Codex Sinaiticus. Or are you able to pull up a website with
the text where I was referencing? Actually, I was misquoted. I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas.
Is a known forgery.
I got that.
Yeah, so starting with the Emerald Tablets, Huff used linguistic analysis to demonstrate that the tablet was actually symbolic, not literal, and fully refuted Carson's claim that they involved things such as quantum mechanics. Additionally, he also made this other claim. If I'm correct, he claimed that the Mount Sinai Bible claims that Jesus was never actually crucified. Which, when I heard this for the first time, because there's many times he's went on podcasts to make this claim, that the Mount Sinai Bible claims that Jesus was never actually crucified. However, here comes Wes Huff, who actually refuted his claim by saying it's not called the Mount Sinai Bible. Are you referring to the Codex Sinaiticus? Now, the Codex Sinaiticus is a 4th century Greek translation, which is almost identical to the Bibles they had before and the ones that we had today. And nowhere did it claim that Jesus was never crucified. It actually shows, if you go to Matthew 27, that he actually was crucified. So when this was brought up to Billy Carson, he then said that he misquoted and that it actually comes from the Gospel of Barnabas, which is a non-canonical text. Now, it doesn't even get crazier from there. After this whole debate went down, Billy Carson showed up at the producer's house at 2 a.m. asking for the video to be taken down.
I believe this guy is not who he makes himself out to be. I'm here to show you who he is based off the clues he's left.
There's going to be obstacles. I just had an obstacle thrown at me yesterday. I really honored this person and thought that they were actually a really, really close friend, to the point where I even invited this person to my own wedding, and I only had 14 people at my wedding. So that tells you how tight that circle is.
Billy, please explain to me how getting somebody on an interview with you, which we told you about, is diabolical and backstabbing. And because you got exposed for knowing nothing about Christianity, you freaked out. You freaked out so much that you were knocking at my client's door at 2:30 a.m. in the morning with legal papers, acting like you have the power to enforce some type of "you got served."
Additionally, on top of that, also sued the producer.
Billy Carson is attempting to sue me. For those of you who don't know, I was invited to interact with Billy on a podcast that he agreed to come on. It was not his podcast, where he was notified beforehand who I was and what we'd be talking about. After that debate took place, Billy attempted to suppress the footage. That didn't really work.
Again, these are all allegations, but if I can find any evidence about any of these claims, then I will put them up on screen. However, I don't even know if the full debate is online because maybe it got taken down. As a matter of fact, if you guys go over to Wes Huff's Facebook, he makes a whole video explaining the whole situation. He writes down, Billy Carson is attempting to sue me. For those of you who don't know, I was invited to interact with Billy Carson on a podcast that he agreed to come on. That was not his podcast where he was notified beforehand who I was and what we'd be talking about. After that debate took place, Billy attempted to suppress the footage, but it didn't really work. So now here comes the fallout. Ever since the audience seen this whole debate, critics, fans, and everyone around the world started going at Billy Carson. Because if you really saw his videos and saw how they were promoted and how they are literally everywhere, on top of the claims that he made, you couldn't sit there and brush it off. His whole social media presence will actually make you consider his claims to be fact. However, it just took one Christian apologist to burn it all down. So now, is everything Billy Carson say a complete fabrication? No, and Probably not. But after this debate, his credibility is now in question. Do you think there's truth in Billy Carson's claims? Did you believe his claims? I would like all you guys to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure also to go follow my podcast. All in all, just go through all my socials, please. And may God be with you all. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.